One. Hey guys! Insanity is good here with my illustrious, amazing co-narrator, Kit.
Oh God, you flatter me! Stop that, it's creepy.
Okay, I flatter all my friends. Get used to it. But yeah.
Before we get started, I still need to take bets because someone is going to die in this episode. I just know it, so I'm taking all bets. Who do we have left?
We've got, actually, let me load up the game and I can tell you. So I can bring up the character chart. Should probably also post something in announcements for everyone because they might be distracted with other
That'd
things.
be a good idea.
Whoops.
Make an announcement like, hey, y'all, we started this up.
Umineko hype!
Okay.
Alright, let me... Okay, here's who we have left. Kinzo's missing. Kraus is dead. Natsui has a gun. Jessica had an asthma attack earlier. George is staying with the cousins. He's still really broken up about Shannon. Hideyoshi and Ava, they are in a room together. They left the parlor after Natsui and Ava got into it, and
Ava's a salty bitch. We realize this.
Yeah, we've got Nanjo, who he's just a good boy. He's just wants to help. Kraus and Kyrie, sorry, they're both dead. We got Battler, who's kind of taken on the role of detective.
He's trying to apply logic to this. Mm-hmm. Sweetheart, please don't try to apply logic to this.
We've got Maria, who's the longer this goes on, the more she's kind of losing it.
Like Maria is just, she's gone mental. And not the fun kind of mental either. And before you ask, yes, there is a fun mental.
And then her mom's dead, Rosa. She's dead. We've got...
She doesn't care.
Yeah, that's a little...
She doesn't care that her mom's dead.
And it could be because she's so young. Because I know, like, for kids, even at her age, which is 8 or 9, even at that age, it's a really mature concept to grasp.
I don't think that's it. Because if she was, she would still be crying that her mom's dead, even after what happened.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's because that she knows that since she's been going around. For those of you who are just tuning in, Maria is a diehard fan of Beatrice.
Yeah, she's so cute, though.
And she has been in contact with Beatrice. Hey, T, I'm about to spill some tea. So Maria is such a diehard fan for Beatrice and has come in contact with Beatrice that she knows that once all of this is over, everybody's going to come back. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why she's not as sad about all of this. Like she's on the side of Beatrice is real in this whole entire thing, because that's not what the whole thing isn't really about logic or like who is going to find the gold. She's more on the side in the battle of, is Beatrice real? That's what all this is basically about. It's just, is Beatrice real, and is she killing everybody? That's basically what all this is about. And the answer for Maria is yes, but Beatrice will bring everybody back once everything is over for whoever wins. If there is a winner. There is a winner.
Yeah, because that's how the Golden Land works. Alright, and then we got Genji, who, he's also a good boy. Doesn't say much, but he's loyal to the bone. Poor Shannon.
Shannon's sad boy. Shannon's dead girl.
Yeah, she's dead. Yeah, very sad.
Oh, God! Oh, please, no!
Sorry.
No. No.
Okay.
No. You're not sorry. Don't lie. You're not sorry. You're not sorry at all.
And Goda's, well, he was a dick, so, I mean, no one's
Yeah,
too
Goda was
sad.
a horrible bastard. We're glad he's dead.
The only things that miss Goda are their stomachs, because he made really good food.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
Hello,
then,
GK.
then Kumasawa, little old lady who, she may gossip, but she's sweet. But yeah, so this is who we've got alive. So who do you guys think is gonna die first? I know who Kit thinks is gonna die.
I think that Ava and Hideyoshi are going to die tonight.
Okay, so everybody's pretty much saying
So
Ava.
T agrees with me. GLaDOS agrees with me. Now,
Yeah.
is this because you think that's what's going to happen, or is this because you want that to happen? Natsuhi won't die tonight. Natsuhi won't die tonight. No, she won't die tonight.
It would be interesting if she does, because she's the one with the weapon. So that would be a really good twist.
It would, but she still has that charm.
Oh, she does. That's right. She still has that good look charm.
And remember the last time Beatrice tried to get her, she wasn't able to, or something tried to get her. They weren't able to because Natsuhi had the charm. So Natsuhi still has that charm.
Yeah, it worked for Natsuhi, but for whatever reason, she didn't try to hurt Battler, and I think it might be because he was in the same room as Maria. And since Maria has a rapport with Beatrice, she doesn't want...
I think Beatrice is going to try and prove a point today.
Yeah.
I know Battler's the MC, but I kind of want him to die. He's a little annoying. We all think that. But unfortunately, he's the MC we've been given. He's the MC that we're stuck with.
He's gonna grow on you guys. I'll tell you that right now.
He's not gonna grow on us in this game, but he will grow on us.
Yeah, he'll grow on you. Trust me. He's
just not in this game. Just not in this installment of the game.
Yeah.
Because there are. Hold on. Okay, so
4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's 4 episodes.
2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. I think in the 4th installment in the first game is when we start to realize something about Battler.
We'll see. Alright.
There's blatant supernatural shit going on and he refuses to see it. Dude.
Dude, just wait. Just wait. Okay. The uncomfortable atmosphere continued even after those two left. It was thick with the idea that simply thinking about the culprit's identity would be the same as deciding whom to suspect. It had begun to feel like discussion of the case was itself taboo, so no one mentioned the case, at least out loud. However, those thoughts were what filled our minds. All that we couldn't say aloud made our heads feel like they were going to explode. So at least on the outside, the parlor had once again regained its calm mood. Everything was left unsettled.
It feels like the rain's gotten a little lighter. Still pouring down.
Even if it did stop, there's no boat on this island. But it'd be nice if the boat came quickly tomorrow. I've had enough of this Western Mansion vacation. Mom, when will the boat come tomorrow?
Normally the boat to take them back would arrive at 3 o'clock today. They probably sent us a phone call to say that they would come after the typhoon passed. But unfortunately the phones aren't working. But they aren't children over there. They were told to both drop off and collect our guests. So they will most likely arrive first thing tomorrow morning. Probably about 9 o'clock, I believe.
So we've got until 9 o'clock.
Yeah. It was completely...
We've got until 9 a.m. the day after.
Yep. No phones. No boat.
Yeah. People dying.
It was completely black outside. When I looked at the clock, I realized that it was just past 7. That was weird. I was starting to get hungry. Oh my god. McAfee, go away! In the kitchen...
McAfee wants your attention desperately.
It really does. I need to freaking install this shit. In the kitchen, Kumasawa was cooking enthusiastically. She had laid out a variety of dishes, and while they didn't match the level of Goda's artful cooking, they were still quite gorgeous.
Hey, she's trying.
Dude, she's got years of experience on that guy. Whatever.
She's trying.
Hey, soul food is better than, like, frickin' fancy-ass food any day of the week.
Fuck yeah, it is.
It was an act of kindness from Kumasawa, who was trying to enliven everyone's low spirits with some food. Kumasawa wasn't nearly as talented as a professional cook like Goda, but she was far from unskilled. On the contrary, since she had been brought up in a fishing village, the simple food she created was sometimes highly praised. Kanon arranged the food Kumasawa had finished creating on plates under her direction. Kanon also helped in the kitchen sometimes, but since he was rarely placed in that role, he was slightly awkward, even though he tried his best. Self-conscious about the fact that he couldn't cleverly arrange the food, Kanon's expression darkened slightly. But Kumasawa smiled as though everything was fine. Oh, it's arranged beautifully. Kanon-kun, aren't you skilled?
If it had been Shen and Nason, it would look even more beautiful.
Oh. Kanon stopped arranging the food for a bit and hung his head.
Somebody give this boy a hug!
I know. Shannon was the one who always assisted Kumasawa in her cooking. Tonight, Kanon was doing it instead. And as he remembered Shannon's face and her brutal end, he grimaced.
Forget that for now.
Genji spoke kindly to Kanon as he advanced a pawn. Nanjo had escaped from the parlor once the mood had grown sour, and Genji had become his opponent in a game of chess upon Nanjo's request.
Sneaky doctor. I think this is the doctor.
I think this is Kanon. See all the ellipses?
Oh, alright then. Hold on.
Yes. I will forget it for now.
Boom!
For now.
Indeed. That is probably for the best.
Genji purposefully refrained from facing Kanon as he spoke. He did so because he understood that it might make things tougher on Kanon if he noticed that someone was looking at his eyes. Nanjo also understood that and held back any thoughtless words. Oh, he was about to cry! I wonder where Kinzo-san has gone. I hope that he is safe, but...
I do not know. However, I believe everything has proceeded as hoped and arranged for.
Note it! Note that! Note that right there!
To distrust that would exceed my role as furniture as to the master.
The servants on this. The servants are in on this.
You ever wanted to
You
adopt
ever
an
wanted
orphan?
to adopt an orphan servant boy? Yes. Every day, every damn day. There's only one thing holding me back.
Aren't you scared, Genji-san? I am frightened that something bad will occur again tonight.
I don't care if he ain't real. Tell that to every person who ships themselves with fictional characters or adopts fictional characters. They don't give a flying fuck. They'll adopt any fictional character in their lives. They'll just be like, okay, I see you. I understand you. You're my child now. Nothing's holding me back from this. I don't care who your original creator was. You're my child now.
Basically me with Aang from Avatar The Last Airbender.
Pretty much!
I have nothing to be afraid of. I serve the Ushiromiya family, and that is all.
Nanjo sighed through his nose and made a carefully considered move. Nanjo was very slightly dubious. Where did they get the chess board from?
They probably took it, like, okay, so most times in old houses like these, they would have games for the servants to play in case they were on duty or they had a time for break. maybe that chessboard was taken from the servant's room and given and used for the kitchen or something. I don't know. It was staying in the parlor.
That's a good point. I was thinking, like, did they take it from Kinzo's study, or, like, I guess not. Alright, could Genji possibly be thinking that he'd be left out of this? You couldn't even imagine what was happening inside this mansion, but he definitely couldn't deny the possibility that Kinzo had devised something. If you liken this island to chess, Kinzo had opened the game, and as a result, 6 pieces had been defeated. Could it be that Genji was calm because he believed he alone was on the outside of the chessboard and therefore safe?
Oh, you foolish old man.
Nanjo thought about it. Isn't everyone just a piece on this chessboard, lined up equally, without any exceptions? Wasn't even Genji, who had gained more of Kinzo's trust than anyone, no, who was confident of his position as Kinzo's only close friend, just another one of the pieces laid out on the chessboard? Genji-san, I am truly frightened about tonight. I hope with all my heart that we will still be safe when tomorrow morning comes. The guest room Eva and Hideyoshi moved into had originally been built to house guests before the guest house's construction. So until a few years ago, they had stayed in these rooms every family conference and were very familiar with them. This room was just like a room at a hotel, with a bedroom and a bathroom, so even though they were still shut in, it was far more comfortable than the parlor. Guess it's true you can relax more when you're alone with your family. Maybe it'd be better if everyone else also shut themselves in guest rooms and locked the doors.
Boo! 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 Everyone boo and hiss the evil witch. Boo!
Natsui
I don't like her at all. I hate her. If she dies today, I'll be doing the greatest jig known to man.
Natsui Ne-san said that no one could leave the parlor throwing her weight around. I'm sure no one will be able to talk back. Fucking coffin dance.
Yes. Yes. We'll all be dancing on her tombstone when this is done.
She's always been treated so coldly, so now that Ne-san's dead, she's getting excited about finally having so much power. Seriously, how shameless can she be? Come now.
How shameless you can be?
Yeah. Come now, don't say that. Natsui-san's doing pretty well. No need to jump on her like that. And about that receipt earlier, you went too far. Come on. If I hadn't said it there wouldn't be another good time to say it. Eva, sulky cutely and looking at the television, sat alongside Hideyoshi, who was lying on the bed.
You are not. You are not. Don't you dare lie about that. You are not.
Still, we haven't been alone like this for quite some time. You're right. Come to think of it, both you and I have gotten pretty old. Since George was born, everything's gone by in the blink of an eye. It really has. I wonder if we were too hasty in having a child. Ava's eyes looked like they were staring off into the distance. Yes, she had thought of it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Her older brother Kraus had been unable to father a child for quite some time. 6 years passed after his marriage to Natsui without any signs of pregnancy, which didn't please Kinzo at all. Ava herself had thought that, since her name would be moved outside the Ushiromiya register when she got married anyway, it didn't matter whether a successor to the headship was born or not. And then, one day, she had a heavenly revelation. Or maybe it was the whisperings of the devil that she had listened to in her greed. If she could give birth to a successor first, wouldn't she be able to remain in the Ushiromiya register? If things went well, might she have a chance to inherit the Ushiromiya family herself? When she proposed this to Hideyoshi, he had approved of it instantly. This wasn't because Hideyoshi also had greedy thoughts. For Hideyoshi, who had no close relatives, it was a chance for him to feel once more the long-forgotten thing called family.
So I'm gonna be mad now if he dies, because he was just brought into this. He just wanted a family. He was brought into this whole fucking mess.
No, Hideyoshi's a good guy. So when they got married, he hadn't fussed over which last name they were to keep, and had quickly agreed to have his name entered into the Ushiromiya family register. It hadn't been easy to persuade Kenzo, but as his daughter, Eva knew Kenzo's personality well. So, by choosing the time when Kenzo was most dissatisfied with Natsui, she was magnificently able to make him accept Hideyoshi as an adopted son-in-law. Looking at Hideyoshi, who had achieved success after starting from nothing, Kenzo might have seen a little bit of himself. He quickly grew to like Hideyoshi and approved his transfer into the Ushiromiya register. George would eventually become the successor to the Ushiromiya family. They had raised him strictly with that purpose in mind. He had been worth their while and had grown into a fabulous young man who wouldn't disappoint no matter where he went. That was why he had not been permitted to fall in love with a servant like Shannon. So when she learned that Shannon was dead and the engagement was now invalid, though part of her had still been shocked by the gruesome crime, part of her had also been relieved that her dear George wouldn't be stolen by some servant girl.
I'm gonna enjoy watching her death.
I have hated Kraus D-san since long ago. He was so full of himself, always swaggering around, so proud that he would one day become the head. So I wanted to get back at him. Was that just a childish emotion?
Yes!
But in the end, that emotion guided my entire life. If that had been all, then it would have been fine.
No, it wouldn't have.
But because of that emotion, I got you and George involved. I used you. Eva, don't blame yourself for that. Hideyoshi got up and held Eva's shoulder. She could feel a warm understanding from him. Well, I reached the halfway point in my life long ago. But you know, I have absolutely no regrets about how I've lived my life. Not one.
You poor sentimental old sap.
I think that since I've been with you, Eva, I've been able to relish an enjoyable life that other men never will. After I lost my relatives in the war, you reminded me what the warmth of family is. So I'm grateful to the Ushiromiya family and think of it as my only one. In this life I've led with you, not a single thing's been wasted. It's really been a fun life up till today. Thank you, darling. Eva hung her head, burying her face in Hideyoshi's chest. Probably, no one in the parlor could even imagine that this side of Eva existed. I'm the one who should be thanking you. Until today, there hasn't been a single day I've regretted being with you. Me too. I'm so glad to have you by my side.
Gonna be a damn dark day when Hideyoshi dies. Yeah, see, GK says the same thing. This is a massive death flag. I'm right. They're going to die soon.
George is already a fine adult. Even if I don't look out for him, he's a man who could do his job well on his own. I wonder, around New Year's, do you want to go spend some time in the Maldives? Just us, no one else. No way. Aren't you always saying that you're so busy responding to New Year's cards that you don't even sleep? None of that this New Year's. I won't read New Year's cards. I'll just stay quiet and check to see if I've won the New Year's lottery. It'd sure be nice if we won a color TV this year. No
that's
way.
right, because color TVs are for like really. Okay, so at this point in time, color TVs are like really rare. Only like the best of the best people can have it. So to say when he says that if we want a color TV this year means that they may be like from a very wealthy family, but they aren't but they aren't really that wealthy to own a color TV.
Yeah.
Because color TVs were mad expensive. Like, think about the big screen TVs of today. That's a color TV back then.
Yeah. No way. I don't want to waste time checking the lottery while in the Maldives. Then none of that either. How does it sound? Just the two of us, taking it easy like when we were newlyweds, just before George was born. Yes. In that case, fine. I hear the Maldives are wonderful. An island with nothing on it, surrounded by beautiful coral reefs and cottages lined up over the water. Like when we were newlyweds, you say? Starting when? As soon as I finished up some business. I won't know till I ask the travel agency, but probably before New Year's Eve. No way. Right now. I want to go right now. Eva nagged at his lips in a peevish yet flirtatious manner. The only sounds
Children, cover your eyes!
The only sounds that filled the room were the distant voice of the announcer on the news, which Hideyoshi had left on, and the obnoxious pounding of the rain against the window.
Thank God they faded to black. Nobody wanted to see this right now. No.
It's still cute, though.
Forget that shit. Children, cover your eyes.
There's no children here. There shouldn't be any children watching. If you are, go away.
Go away, you guys. There's death, murder in here. You can't know. No children in here.
There was a knock on the door and Genji-san entered.
Madam, dinner has been prepared. Will you eat in here again?
Yes. Have it brought here. Is Dr. Nanjo still in the kitchen?
Yes. He has said he wishes to carefully deliberate over his next move. Do not worry. He is with the other servants.
Genji-san's good enough at chess to be grandfather's opponent. I hear he's even better than Dr. Nanjo, right?
That's right. Long ago he played against me, but he must have let me win.
Maria, sounds like it'll be time to eat soon. But look at you, you've been watching TV all day long and you still haven't gotten bored.
I'm always watching TV, so I'm fine. Yeah.
Aw, she's a TV kid.
Aren't we all TV kids?
I mean, we have nothing else left to do.
Yeah.
Marie-chan sure is a TV kid.
Food's coming, so we have to clean up the table. Earlier, we had torn several pages out of Maria's notebook, and there was now a mess where everyone had been drawing together. Jessica began cleaning that up quickly. Still, everyone here really can draw. I'd never guessed.
Genji, ask Eva-san and Hideyoshi-san whether they'd at least like to have dinner with us. Although they will probably turn us down.
Certainly.
First father, now Eva-san. It's quite hard to gather everyone in the Ushiromiya dinner table.
Natsumi felt her headaches start throbbing again and lightly held her temples.
You and me both, woman!
The distance from the kitchen to the parlor wasn't that great, so Genji had gone and come back by himself, but the guest room was a little farther away. Natsumi had warned him to avoid being alone whenever possible, and just now Nanjo had also admonished him, saying it would be better if he held a little more concern for his safety. Kennen accompanied Genji, and the two of them went to visit Eva and Hideyoshi in their guest room. Genji knocked on the door.
Eva-sama, Hideyoshi-sama. Dinner has been prepared.
He waited a short while for them to come out, but there was no response.
Ooh!
'Cause they're busy! Getting busy! Yeah!
No, not that! Not that! Genji-sama, look at this.
Kennen pointed under the door.
It's the envelope! The sacrifice has been chosen and dealt with.
A Western envelope had been inserted under it. Normally, when something was inserted this way, it would be interpreted as a message from someone outside to someone in the room. So, since this might be a private note meant for Eva and Hideyoshi, it was not something that Kennen and Genji were supposed to take interest in. But this Western envelope was one of Kinzo's, the same kind as the one Maria had taken out last night and surprised everyone with.
There can be no mistake. It is one of the master's envelopes. Or could it be?
Even though this was one of Kinzo's envelopes, the letter Maria read aloud the previous night hadn't come from Kinzo.
Shit's about to go down!
Genji continued knocking a little harder and called out in a loud voice.
Eva-sama. Eva-sama! It is Genji. Are you there? Please answer, Eva-sama.
But there was no response from inside. Sometimes, when the servants went to call some guests for a meal, the guests would be sleeping so deeply that they wouldn't wake up. In times like that, the servants would stick a letter in the door to show that it was time to come out and leave the guest be. But despite that, Genji beat even harder on the door and called out Ava's name. Keep in mind that Genji has been serving Kinzo since, like, the aunts and uncles were kids. So, like, he saw these people grow up from children. Like, he's been serving them a really long time. So, he's playing it cool, but a part of him has got to be really
worried
sad.
as hell.
Yeah.
he's worried as hell.
Yeah. However, there was no answer. Cannon stuck his ear up to the door, held his breath, and listened for any sounds coming from inside.
I hear something that sounds like a television, but I don't sense anyone. The room might be empty.
Genji took out a handkerchief and, careful not to touch it with his bare hands, gently pulled out the envelope that had been stuck under the door. I just heard that comment.
He heard porn playing.
Oh god. I mean, maybe.
I mean, that might be a possibility.
Oh my god. It was sealed with deep red sealing wax.
wax on a door.
No, the envelope.
Oh, okay.
It was sealed with deep red sealing wax. Without a doubt, the mark on that sealing wax had come from the Ushiromiya family head's ring.
Eva-sama! Eva-sama! What? What? You mean you make
Your
it?
boy.
Oh, jeez. The things you YouTube viewers miss out on when you're not in the Discord chat.
Basically.
No, don't stop. This is funny. Please answer. Are you still in your room?
But there was still no answer. There was a chance
They did.
There was a chance that those two were aimlessly walking around the mansion. This was the home Ava had grown up in. There was plenty of reason to think that she had gone out on a casual stroll. Genji groped around in his pocket and pulled out the bundle of keys, which contained the key that would open the guest room.
Genji-sama?
Cannon also understood what this meant. They would sometimes unlock the door so they could go in and do things like make the beds, but only after they made sure the guests were out. To unlock the door for any other reason, and especially to do so when there was a chance the guests hadn't given permission and might still be in there, was an action unbecoming of a servant. But Genji had decided, if the only problem had been that his knock hadn't received a reply, he wouldn't have gone this far. But the envelope under the door was doubtlessly one of Kinzo's, or rather, one of the western envelopes of the Ushiromiya family head. After last night, the sender of this envelope could be someone other than Kinzo. If this letter had been sent by someone else...
Eva-sama! My apologies. Allow me to enter your room.
After giving that final notice, Genji stuck one of the keys from the bundle into the keyhole. There was the sound of the door unlocking, and after slowly turning the knob, he slowly started opening the door. Light seeped through the crack of the door. Were they in the room? Or had they forgotten to turn out the lights? Clink. It was the sound of the door chain being pulled tight.
God damn it!
The chain had been secured. The chain couldn't be secured from the outside, so it also proved that they were in the room. The sound of voices on the TV seeped out of the room. The lights, the chain, and the TV. All of these things made it clear they were in the room. But there was no sign of them. Genji called to Ava once again through the crack of the door, but there was no answer.
Genji-sama, what should we do?
As part of their job, the servants were able to unlock almost any lock in the mansion, but they had no way to open a door with the chain. The only way to get by the chain was to cut it. That was certainly not permitted as part of a servant's usual work.
Bitch, I don't think that really matters right now.
A creepy chill had already rushed up their backs. Cannon held his breath again and tried to sense someone through the door, but even so, he was not able to sense anyone.
I will call Madam in return. Cannon, cut the chain. Yes.
As Cannon hurried away to get a cutting tool, Genji called him to a stop.
Don't run with scissors, young boy. Wait, Cannon. Return to the kitchen and take Kumasawa with you. You must not act alone. Yes. Certainly.
It looked like Cannon was wondering why he had to do something so troublesome in the middle of this urgent situation. But Genji had said it out of wariness. He didn't care what happened to himself. But in the worst case scenario, he didn't want anything to happen to Cannon. In the kitchen, Kumasawa was piling food on the serving cart, and Nanja was waiting for Genji, apparently wanting to show him a move he'd finally thought up that might turn the tables on him. But Genji's appearance immediately told him that something was wrong. Oh, what has happened, Genji-san?
Dr. Ninja, my apologies, but please allow this match to be suspended for the time being. Cannon, take care of the chain. Kumasawa, stop setting up dinner for now and accompany Cannon. I will go with the map. If you would come with me, Dr. Ninja.
Good, they're going in pairs.
I mean, strength in numbers.
Yeah. Has something happened? Genji took Nanjo, who still didn't know what was going on, and quickly left the kitchen.
Kumasawa-san, my apologies, but please come with me.
What has happened, Kanon-san? Kumasawa said almost exactly the same thing as Nanjo, unable to take in the situation, and chased after Cannon, who had flown out into the hallway.
Keep up!
Taking Kumasawa with him, Cannon went to a storage room and looked through the tools packed in toolboxes and hanging all over the walls, trying to find something that could be used to cut the chain.
Get a bolt cutter!
What are you looking for? Let me help too.
We're cutting a door chain. Where was that large wire cutter? Or a wire cutter, too.
A door chain? Why would you choose something like that?
The chain to Eva-sama and Hideyoshi-sama's room. Even though they should be inside, they didn't answer when we called them.
It took Kumasawa some time to figure out how cutting the chain and Eva and Hideyoshi not answering were connected, but she did realize that this was an urgent situation. That one will probably do the trick. Cannon took down a very large wire cutter that had been hanging on the wall. It was called a cutter, but maybe it'd be easier to understand if we said it was shaped like a large pair of pliers. Cannon remembered once being warned that this dangerous tool could easily cut through one of your fingers.
Among other things.
Cannon took that and rushed up the stairs. He already knew.
Stop running with dangerous sharp tools, boy!
He already knew instinctively. He should fight for every minute, every second to open it quickly. Or perhaps it was already. Please wait, Kanan-san.
Bitch, we got dead bodies, we can't! Hurry!
Kumasawa eventually caught up with him, gasping for breath with both hands on her knees. When Cannon changed his grip on the wire cutters and looked up at the door, he let out an struck speechless.
They're dead! They're dead, and the thing who killed them left another symbol on their door in blood.
What?
Pay up.
What is this? Kumasawa screamed weakly, her face pallid. That was no surprise, because right there, on the door, just like the magic circle that had been drawn on the shutter of the Rose Garden storehouse, there was another eerie shape drawn with a blood-like paint. However, it would be odd to call this one a magic circle, because Unlike what most people would expect, it wasn't a circle with shapes drawn inside it, but a slightly more complicated geometrical shape.
We call that a box.
However, those strange characters filling in the gaps, which weren't from the alphabet, were the same kind as the ones on that magic circle on the shutter. But the thing that had Kenan struck speechless wasn't how eerie the magic circle was. It was that something like this hadn't been here a short while ago.
Dun dun dun!
First, he had taken a trip back to the kitchen. After that, he'd gone to the storage room to grab a tool and headed right back. Put those together, and it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. How could someone add something this creepy during that period of time? And as though it had just been drawn, almost like the door itself was bleeding, several unsettling vertical red lines slowly dripped down, getting longer and longer. Kumasawa's knees gave way, and she sank down on the spot. If Kumasawa hadn't done this first, then Kenan surely would have wanted to. It's the work of Beatrice-sama. How horrid! How horrid! Kenan gulped, then readied the wire cutter and approached the door. He didn't want to get close to this disturbing magic circle, and he really didn't want to touch the steadily dripping substance that looked like blood.
Which sometimes you just gotta be a man and open the door.
But if he didn't get close, he wouldn't be able to cut the chain. Fighting this cold feeling, he gulped again, and after gathering his courage, he went even closer, putting the wire cutter up against the chain. Shouldn't he wait for everybody else?
Nope, we gotta get in there now!
He then pressed with all of his strength, managing to cut through the chain far more easily than he'd anticipated. The cut chain fell into 2 separate parts, which continued to clang as they swayed back and forth. Kanan-san, there's an envelope by your feet. And isn't that the master's? It looked like Kumasawa had also noticed the western envelope at the bottom of the door, and that the sealing wax had been sealed with the head's ring. Kenan hesitated for just a second over whether he should open the letter first or check inside the room, but he eventually decided on fulfilling his original purpose. Kenan pulled a handkerchief out of his pocket. This was so he wouldn't leave fingerprints on the door. If his worst fears were realized, the police would want to investigate this room too. He slowly pushed the door open. He was able to more clearly hear the sound of the television, which had been seeping out faintly this whole time. Ava was lying face up on the bed. On the bed with her shoes still on? Kumasawa, who had fearfully entered after Kenan and who was hiding behind his back, screamed a short "Yee!" again when she saw Ava like that. Ava's shoes had been the first part of her that Kenan had seen, so the oddness of wearing shoes in bed was the first thing to strike him. But when Ava's head shifted into his line of sight, Kenan couldn't help but let out a short scream like Kumasawa. Right in the middle of Ava's forehead, something had been placed?
We know a better word for that. Stabbed. Something had been stabbed in this middle of Ava-san's forehead.
Something was growing there? No. Right in the center of her forehead. Was it an old-fashioned knife? That or some weapon like it was sticking out.
She's dead! She's gone! Thank you, GLaDOS. Alrighty.
At the base of where it was stuck in, blood dripped down, staining the sheets on the other side bright red. Kumasawa's knees gave way once more and she sank down on the floor. Her mouth kept flapping open and closed, but she couldn't even scream. Ava was dead, with some kind of weapon sticking out of her forehead. Oh, I heard that.
Yep, she's gone, everybody. She's dead. Please don't show the new one.
I'm going to. Ushiromiya Ava. Found on the bed of a guest room inside the mansion with a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of her forehead.
Oh, God! Why must you do these things you do?
Because I've never seen the new images.
Ugh.
Both eyes were open wide, and the image of the person who killed her must have been burned into them. But the only mouth capable of naming that person had been shut for all eternity. Even though her forehead was the last place they wanted to look, they couldn't tear their eyes from it. Right there, the weapon was stuck into Ava's forehead, standing almost perfectly upright. And on the handle was a complicated design that you wouldn't expect to see on an ordinary weapon. That thing could be summed up with the word occult. It was a vulgar object with a design that might have been of some demon. What about Hideyoshi-sama? Hideyoshi-sama! Ava was on top of her bed, but the other bed was empty. Where was Hideyoshi? After taking a backwards glance at Kumasawa, still on her knees and stupefied, he checked oh, I'm sorry, that was canon. My bad. This track, though, I love this fucking song, oh my god.
This song bangs so hard!
I just saw what T wrote.
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
He checked the bathroom just in case. At the moment he opened the door, he was greeted by steam and the sound of the shower. The bathroom was of the same familiar style as most hotel bathrooms. When taking a shower, a waterproof curtain was used to keep water from flying out. That waterproof curtain was half open, and lying tumbled down in the bathtub was Hideyoshi, completely naked with both eyes open, and pointing right at Cannon.
Oh shit.
Just like Ava, a weapon with a demon-like design was stuck into his forehead. Since his head had been under the shower's hot water this whole time, his face wasn't half covered and filthy with blood like Ava's had been. But the sight of him dead while still taking a shower was tragic enough.
And horrible, my god, he was naked!
I'm like over here dancing in my chair like... Ushiromiya
People
Hideyoshi.
are dying and this song slaps!
Found in the bathroom of the same guest room that Ava was found in. Like Ava, there was a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of his forehead. You can't see either of them by looking through the gap of the door while the chain is set. You can't see them, so you can't reach them. Hey, how could a human possibly kill them?
Okay, I'm starting to think now that oh god, no. I'm starting to think that Maria. See, why would you put that? Why would you put that? Now I can't get that image out of my head anymore. This entire thing just ruins the moment a little bit. Wow.
The child did it.
But the child did it. The child did it. Maria-chan did it.
How would she do it though? The chain was...
She's possessed! She's possessed by Beatrice!
Just then, they heard Natsui's voice coming from the hall. She was probably coming with Genji.
Again with this graffiti. What about this letter? What does it say inside?
I don't know. I haven't read it yet.
We shouldn't touch it carelessly. The culprit's fingerprints might be left on it. We should hand it over to the police. God, I love this fucking song, I'm sorry, like...
They went out of their way to leave it in here. I'm sure they wouldn't have our fingerprints.
As Natsui said that, she picked up the envelope. No, why would you... Okay. And before
Because I mean, she is kind of right. Like, maybe... Okay, so here's a stupid thing that people think that other people wouldn't do. You see, when you have something in your pocket, it can sometimes slip out if you don't, even if you don't touch it. Like, you can take it from the inside of your garment, go from the pocket, and then carefully shift that out. Shift the item inside the pocket out to make it fall on the ground, and then leave it there. That way you can let something fall out of your pocket without you even having to touch it.
The murderer is a deep Beatrice, and unless she's doing some serious EBGB magic, she'd need to be let in, so like, having to face others with trust would help with that.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
No, see, here's the thing that you guys are forgetting, though. The door chain was locked from the inside, so how do you get out?
You don't.
You don't. You can't, because it's a closed room.
Remember the last episode? Battler asked Maria to tell Beatrice to do the next murder in a way that he would have to believe.
Either way, Maria's in the parlor with everyone else.
No, I know, yeah, but maybe it wasn't Maria who did it, but this still brings to the mind that Beatrice did this, because Beatrice killed Ava and Hideyoshi in a way that no human could have.
Yeah. Well, she was standing right behind him when he was having that conversation, so... Alright.
Oh, no, not with the servants, but with, like, at the end of that episode.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right,
At the end of that chapter.
She's like a wall master, all this, she's just like, phases through walls. Maybe? We don't know.
Maybe, but that also, I'm raising another theory. So, Maria said something about Beatrice controlling demons, right?
Yeah, I think she did.
Yeah, what if a demon did this?
Maybe?
I vaguely recall that, but yeah, what if a demon did this?
We'll find out. Alright. And before checking its contents, she entered the room herself, where she found Ava dead.
Ava-san! Madam, Hideyoshi-san is here too. This is truly atrocious. Ken, turn off the shower. Don't let this be any more pitiful than it needs to be. Oh, whoops. Yes, ma'am.
Kenan gripped his handkerchief and twisted the valve, turning off the shower. In the bathtub, a small jar of body soap had fallen with its cap off. It really looked like he'd been attacked while taking a shower. There was still a small splash of blood clinging to the white bathtub, and the combination of red and white made a horrible contrast.
It's gonna be all psycho up in this bitch. Dr. Marshall.
I understand. No signs of post-mortem lividity. Rigor mortis hasn't begun either. It would seem that an hour or so has passed since they were killed. But even so, how a weapon with such a short handle could do that to the skull, I cannot imagine. Nanjo checked their pulse and their pupils, making certain of their deaths once more. As Kenan watched this business-like treatment, he thought, couldn't you tell at a glance that they're dead without doing all that? Nanjo thought about removing the weapon, but then decided it'd be better to preserve the scene and hand it over to the police, so he left it alone. But a close inspection of the base showed that it didn't have a blade. In fact, it was more conical than blade-shaped. He noticed that, rather than a knife, it was more like a short-handled spear, something with a shape better suited for thrusting than slicing. Some people might have likened it to a thick ice pick rather than a short spear. At any rate, after looking at the scene, no further words were needed to describe what sort of terrible purpose such eerily designed weapons were originally made for, nor was it necessary to explain how they carried out their function. Natsui, hoping to escape the repulsive steam filling the bathroom as soon as she could, covered her mouth with a handkerchief and dashed from the room. Just viewing their gruesome bodies for an instant had been enough to burn the image into her eyes. If she looked any longer, that image would surely remain in her vision for all eternity. The rising urge to vomit was exactly the same feeling she'd had that morning at the gardening storehouse. For a while, Natsui couldn't help but stand with her back facing the guest room, fighting that sickness in her stomach.
At any rate, we can't let the children... Whoop, too late. We can't let children see this room. Clear this room with all haste.
Yes, we mustn't let them see. If George-san saw his parents in this brutal state, But they could tell that those fiercely racing footsteps in the hallway belonged to George, even before he came dashing into the room. Oh no! George and the other children had been waiting in the parlor. However, when they saw Genji speak to Natsui, when they saw her turn pale and fly out of the parlor, they felt a sense of foreboding. And when they saw a large group of people gathered around the guest room, they were sure of it.
Father! Mother!
Oh! What is this? Another magic circle?
You know, you little bitch.
Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi are safe, right? Hey, Kennen-kun, what's this all about? Kennen didn't have to say anything. George's scream after he ran into the room told them everything they needed to know.
Who did this? I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
God, poor George, man. He loses his fiancée
And then
his
he loses
parents.
his mom and dad.
Oh my god. George,
You know what? Take me. I don't care anymore. Oh.
Natsui touched George's shoulder with her hand, but he violently shook her off. George fell over beside Ava and buried his face on the bed in front of his mother's face, wailing, "Oh, baby! Oh!" Then he pounded on the bed with his fist over and over again. George Nissan! Ain't in there.
That ain't gonna help him none.
Battler?
This song seriously slaps. It's just getting more and more increasingly energizing as this entire thing goes on.
Battler had his back against the wall of the hallway, and was covering his eyes with his right hand and weeping without restraint. Horrible. That's horrible. He proposed to the girl he loved and lost her the next day. And on the same day, even his mom and dad were killed. Isn't that too harsh? Of course, it's sad whenever anyone dies, no matter who it is. But to Battler, those left alone by the deaths of others were far more worthy of pity. Everyone here now had lost someone close to them. George wasn't the only one to be pitied. However, George's pain was far greater than everyone else's. Battler! I know! Everyone dies sooner or later. If you're human, you'll eventually have to fight the sorrow of losing someone close to you. But still, shouldn't that day be far in the future for Aniki? And shouldn't those deaths visit him one at a time? Horrible! It's too horrible! That bastard! That bastard! Doesn't he have even a speck of human sympathy in him? Ah! Maria tried to comfort Battler in a mechanical-sounding voice, rather violently wiped his tears. Yeah. Damn it, I won't cry anymore. Tears of regret, tears of sadness, I won't shed them again. It's all useless. The witch has got me backed into a corner. I'm always on the defensive. And that's useless, it's all useless. I'll spin the chessboard around. That bastard probably thinks we'll be running scared like sheep until tomorrow before we try anything. But guess what? I'll spin it around. That bastard can't escape this island until tomorrow either. We won't be hiding away pissing ourselves. That bastard will. I'll expose you, you'll see. By tomorrow. No, screw tomorrow. Tonight. Before tonight's over, I'll be gripping you by the collar.
At any rate, we'll lock this room and leave everything as it is until the police come. No objections, I take it.
Natsui announced it as though she didn't care whether they agreed or not. If anyone had a right to object, it would have been George, but he looked as though he'd shed enough tears. George nodded slightly, still facing away from the others, and when he stood up, everyone else agreed too. Natsui still hadn't opened that western envelope of the family head that she'd picked up. But now that they decided to leave this room, she decided to unseal it in the parlor, where everyone could watch. As soon as they walked out into the hallway to head back to the parlor, some of them immediately felt something out of place, or maybe sensed something strange.
Wait, hold on. I think this is a brand new chapter.
No, it didn't do the glass thing.
Oh, alright then.
Yeah. Stinks.
Did you notice it too, Maria? Seriously, what's that smell? It's awful. When everyone sniffed the air, they did notice a horrible burnt smell drifting through the hallway, one that none of them had smelled until then. I will go quickly to check the kitchen. I'm sure I turned the flame off. After noticing a burnt smell, it was natural that Kumasawa, who had just been using the burner in the kitchen, suspected that her own slip-up had caused it. Kumasawa hastily dashed away.
Can I go with Kumasawa? Do not let her be alone.
Yes.
After nodding at Genji's order, Kennen followed after her. He wasn't running, but as he followed her, he tried to search for the cause of the smell in the other directions as well.
Stinks. Yeah. It truly is a stench that makes the nose wrinkle. However, that doesn't mean we can just open a window for ventilation.
Natsumi was reluctant to open the windows in a situation where self-defense was so important.
She's still carrying that gun! Let us run the fan. I do not believe there will be any need to open the windows.
George and Nikki, is it okay if I talk to you?
If it's about finding the culprit, then I have no problems.
It seemed that George had managed to climb out of the abyss of sorrow. All that filled his chest now was a quiet flame of hatred towards the culprit who had stolen the lives of the one he loved and his beloved parents. The chain for this room was set. From what I could tell by looking at it, I'm positive that it couldn't be opened from the outside. In other words, this was a perfect closed room.
That does seem to be the case. In the case of the Rose Garden storehouse, they might have sneaked the shutter's key out of the servant room. Or maybe they had a duplicate key. I can imagine many ways they could have done it. But this chain is different. Among generally used locking techniques, a chain is the simplest one to create a closed room with.
Only a chain will block everyone coming from the outside as long as it isn't physically broken. So, does this mean the culprit couldn't have gone in or out through the door? That's interesting. Just a few hours ago, I seem to remember everyone making a fuss over how to enter a room without using the door. Back then, we were all losing our cool wondering how Grandfather had disappeared from his room. The receipt Aunt Ava stuck in the door on a whim proved that the door had remained sealed, and since Aunt Natsui was the only person to enter or exit during that time, she was under suspicion. Aunt Ava proposed a theory about how Aunt Natsui might have thrown Grandfather out the window, and left by the door herself. But this door is much simpler. It was sealed from the inside by the door chain. The window had also been locked from the inside, and the bodies had been inside the room. This time it really had been, without exaggeration, a true closed room. That's right. If you include Grandfather's disappearance, 3 cases have occurred, and all 3 times, the door has been the point of interest. The first was the shutter. There was a key in the server room, and if we assume someone knew about that, this can't really be called a closed room. The next was the door sealed by the receipt. However, Aunt Natsui entered that room, so if Grandfather had left through the window or been thrown out, she would have been able to lock the window before escaping. Or, like my theory, Grandfather could have hidden until the receipt was gone and left the room later. Basically, this door could be defeated with a handful of desperate tricks. In that sense, you really can't call this one a closed room either. And now, we have the door sealed with the door chain. Finally, We have to give up. The window, the door, everything had been locked. It was a perfect closed room. The first hadn't been a closed room because everyone could be suspected. The second hadn't been a closed room because Aunt Natsui could be suspected. But this time, no one can be suspected. This was a perfect closed room because the door chain formed a seal that blocked everyone equally well.
In that case, did the culprit carry out the crime without entering the room? With some method from outside the room?
Oh, hi, Rox. Hello. Good point. Even though the chain makes it impossible to open it wide enough for a person to fit through, you can open it a small crack. Did the culprit knock on the door to make them peer out before attacking them? Wait, am I missing something? Yeah, you are. If Aunt Ava's body had been lying right next to the door, then it might have been possible. But she was on the bed at the back of the room, and Uncle Hideyoshi was even in the bathroom. Looking from the crack in the door, you couldn't even see them, and you couldn't reach them with your hands either. Damn it, it's all useless. I don't have a clue. Something was tugging softly at my sleeve.
Maria.
It was Maria.
Satisfied?
What do you mean satisfied?
Okay, for the rest of this entire playthrough, I can't do the laugh. I'm sorry. I can't do the laugh.
It's okay, just do your best creepy laugh.
I'm trying to do my best creepy laugh, but I don't want to. I can't do the laugh. I'm sorry.
Battler, since you didn't want to suspect any of your relatives, you made a wish saying you wanted the culprit to be Beatrice, right? Well, Beatrice granted that wish. Just as you asked, she did something that was completely impossible for a human to make you believe in the witch. And now you're complaining? How selfish.
I can't.
Ouch!
I tapped Maria, who was laughing unpleasantly, on the head with my fist.
Tapped? Really?
Just like a little, the anime bop.
Oh.
Yeah. Sure, thanks for granting that wish. That just now was to thank you, and also to teach you to stop laughing when it's inappropriate. Oh! Boom, bitch! More importantly, tell me. There was another mysterious scribble on the door to Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's room. Was that another magic circle? Here, I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
That one had a really memorable and characteristic design, so I'd hope you'd at least know what it was. Ouch!
You did it again. I don't know, which is why I'm letting you take the credit. Quit whining and explain.
You sure are violent, Battler. I won't tell you if you're too mean, get it? Ouch! I'll say it, stop hitting me!
I'm gonna keep hitting you, bitch. You keep making up all this creepy shit, and you're scaring the bejesus out of the rest of us. Please stop beating this poor possessed child. No! I'm not going to stop hitting this child.
It's an old school exorcism.
Exactly. Just keep beating them. Maybe the ghost will come out of a dead body.
We're kidding. Please don't do that to people.
Not unless you have a silver ring. A silver ring with purified salt in it. You're gonna catch these hands.
What's the first magic circle of the moon?
What does it mean? What is this magic circle's effect? What does the Hebrew writing mean?
The words are from the Old Testament, Psalms 107, verse 16. For he has broken gates of brass and cut through bars of iron. This magic circle has two effects. First, it can open a door regardless of which method has been used to lock it.
That sure is convenient. So you're saying they're trying to make it look like they're a witch, because this closed room has a door that can't be opened without relying on magic? And the other effect?
When you're blocked by unopenable doors in all directions, it opens a door. By using it in a difficult situation, it gives you a solution you hadn't even thought of until then. Generally speaking, you receive the powers of observation and discernment, inspiration and intuition. Beatrice is trying to provoke you since there's no way we humans like Battler could figure out how this door was opened. Ouch!
Hit her again, oh my god. Okay, good work, so shut up. Sounds great, I'll accept this challenge from the witch.
Maria-chan. Things like witches and demons don't exist in this world.
I'm sorry, I just... Yeah, blocking out images of naked Hideyoshi is probably a good idea.
Hold on, what? Oh, these hands rated E for everyone. I'm gonna take a shower after the stream and think of Buff Layton while blasting partition to plug out. Oh, you. I wish you luck then. Someone killed father and mother. I don't know whether that was someone I know or not. But either way, it was definitely a human.
Yeah, but how? How did they reach those two through that crack in the door? It couldn't have been more than 10 centimeters wide.
At any rate, I can hardly stand this stench. What in the world could it be?
Meanwhile...
It's like, thank you, Natsui, for getting us back on track. Kennen and Kumasawa, who had gone on ahead, realized the smell wasn't coming from the kitchen even before they arrived there. That was because they noticed an even thicker wave of stench rising up from the stairs leading to the basement, which they passed on their way to the kitchen.
No! I don't want Kennen to die! I don't want Kennen to die! No! Don't kill Kennen and Kumasawa! You already got Ava and Hideyoshi. Don't kill my favorite child!
I was gonna say, it could just be Kumasawa, like...
Why does everyone I love have to die? Sooner or later, it's gonna be people that I'm not voicing anymore, and I'm just gonna be left out, and that'll just be horrible. GLaDOS, you take that picture down right now. My boy ain't gonna die. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna hurt you. Don't put the death flag up on my boy. The boiler room.
I wonder if there's something wrong with the boiler again. Those stairs led to the underground boiler room. The mansion's boiler was old and in poor condition. Both of them had witnessed problems with the boiler on several occasions, but they had never smelled the boiler belching out a stench like this before. Slam. What was that sound? The thing they heard from the basement was definitely the sound of a door closing. Kumasawa had phrased it as a question, but she already knew it couldn't be anything else. Kumasawa was so surprised at that sound that her knees gave way yet again and she cowered. After all, at that very moment, no one could have been in the boiler room.
Except...
Just a few seconds ago, everyone had been crowded together around Ava and Hideyoshi's room. So who caused the sound of a door closing just now? Kennen-san! After taking a second to sort out the situation, Kennen ran down towards the basement. Since they'd heard the sound of a door closing just now and there was no sign of anyone coming up the stairs, the person who'd closed the door had to be inside the boiler room now. If the boiler room had been a dead end, Kennen wouldn't have rushed in so hastily. But Kennen was a servant, so he knew. There were two entrances to the boiler room, one that opened to the mansion and one that opened to the courtyard. If he didn't chase them now, they might slip away. Kumasawa reached the same conclusion long after Kennen did, but she couldn't let him go alone. If the thing in the boiler room was the culprit, an opponent who had easily killed 6 adults in the first murder, that no matter how Cannon confronted them, he wouldn't be a match. Of course, with this argument, even if Kumasawa joined him, it wouldn't change anything. But at any rate, after a delay, Kumasawa decided that she mustn't let Cannon go alone, and she rushed down the stairs.
No, not my boy! No!
At that time, Cannon was already in the boiler room. The boiler room's characteristic damp heat tormented him. It had always been an unpleasantly smelly and hot place. And on top of that, the room was full of that horrible stench, which made Cannon feel like he was going to be sick. There was no doubt that this room was the source. In that case, Cannon should have been searching for where the smell was coming from. However, Cannon kept gazing straight forward as he grabbed a hatchet from a tool shelf just off to the side of the door. He hadn't stretched out his hand because he'd wanted a hatchet. He had wanted to grab a weapon, any weapon. Why? Cannon gazed into the darkness where the naked light bulb couldn't pierce. Then, he answered.
In roulette, you bet on a number or the colors red or black, vying for a payoff. However, low-risk bets like black and red only offer a similarly low payoff.
The words coming from Cannon's mouth were swallowed up by the darkness. That darkness suddenly started to swirl, glittering.
Oh, shit! No, not Cannon! Not my boy, no!
It was such a fantastical scene. Golden, sparkling butterflies that hid in the shadows all over the boiler room flapped their wings, twinkling beautifully, and gathered in the darkness, disappearing. Cannon continued speaking, directing his words at the darkness as it swallowed the butterflies up. But as the butterflies gathered in the darkness, they, perhaps, probably, no, they would certainly laugh. But Cannon continued to speak without faltering in the slightest.
However, if you bet on something with a lower probability, your payoff increases proportional to the risk. The master called succeeding despite its astronomical risk a miracle, and called the astronomical payoff gained as a result magic. I have no interest in what kind of magic you and the master were seeking when you spun that roulette. But you forgot something. You've forgotten that in roulette there's a pocket that's neither black nor red.
Roulette has a special pocket called Zero, which means that the house takes everything in certain variants of the game. This means that all of the coins bet on the table will be swept up, just as though everyone has forfeit.
I set my heart on just one thing. I decided that if Shannon were to be killed and I was left alive, I'd sacrifice this life of mine to bring this roulette of yours to ruin. This isn't one of Master's rules, and it certainly isn't one of yours. I made this rule myself. I'm not furniture anymore. I'm the zero on your roulette.
Cannon's face twisted with humiliation. It was clear that his defiance against his own weaknesses was being ridiculed somehow. Cannon's brow creased even further, and a fierce expression that he'd never shown to anyone appeared on his face. The hand grasping the hatchet was shaking. His sweat became drops which slid downward. It was clear that the emotion causing Cannon's hand to shake wasn't just anger. However, Cannon suppressed that emotion.
I won't let your words lead me astray again. This is where the demon's roulette ends. Wait another 1,000 years in hell for your next summoner, Beatrice!
When Cannon raised the hatchet and tried to dive into the darkness definitely sneered. It sneered at that courage as if it were vulgar, lazy, futile, and meaningless.
Fuck you, bitch! Fuck you!
Cannon, his hatchet still held aloft, couldn't take another step after that. With a clang, the hatchet that he'd been grasping fell and rolled on the floor. And following that, with a pair of thuds, Cannon's knees hit, left, then right. That hand, which looked like it was trying to catch the sky now that the hatchet had been dropped, gradually lowered, landing on his chest. Then, the other hand did the same. Right there was a handle with a demonic design engraved in it. As Cannon looked down at his chest, the same type of weapon that had been stabbed into Eva and Hideyoshi's foreheads was... Cannon was curled up in anguish, fresh blood dribbling from the corner of his mouth. It was makeup too extreme for Cannon's white skin.
They really have a lot of ways of saying blood in this game. Holy crap.
Around this scene, the glittering gold butterflies danced through the darkness, mesmerizing. It was a beautiful, beautiful dance. A funeral march of tribute, ridicule, and contempt for a single boy's self-sacrifice. Cannon had already been prepared for his own death, but although he could do nothing but accept the death he had received, he attempted one last measure of resistance. He grasped the handle of the weapon sticking into his chest with both hands, and gritting his teeth with an acute, unearthly pain, he pulled it out. For only a moment, a bright red spray gushed out. It made an unpleasant bloop sound. It probably resembled the sound of Cannon's soul as it was sucked into the swamp of the dead. Cannon-san! Eek! Someone! Eek! Kumasawa screamed at the incomprehensible sight in front of her. Cannon was lying in a pool of blood. Kumasawa's heart was a complete mess. Ah, what a horrible fate! He would have been killed if I had been with him. Ah, what incredible luck! If I had been with him, I might have been killed too. As she screamed, her expression was filled with complete confusion, and all of the muscles of her face were pulled up, almost as though she was smiling while crying. But no one could have made fun of an expression like this.
Both.
What is it? What is it, Kumasawa?
What is Kumasawa?
Answer me,
Kumasawa!
Kumasawa! The first one to dash in was Natsui. Holding the rifle. Right. Battler and Genji dashed in after her. Normally, they probably would have started discussing the origin of that violent stench filling the boiler room. But after they saw Cannon, who was lying on the ground as if he were drowning in an ocean of his own blood, the stench wasn't important anymore.
My child! My boy!
Cannon, answer me! Genji, bring Dr. Nanjo here.
Natsui realized that even though Cannon was on the verge of death, he was still conscious, so she sent Genji to get the doctor. Natsui, holding the rifle aloft, faced the darkness in the center of the boiler room and shouted,
Who is hiding over there? Come out quietly! If you don't come out from there, I'll shoot without mercy!
We need light! And Natsui, let's light them up! Battler, thinking quickly, took a large flashlight from the tool shelf alongside the door and used its light to cut through the darkness Natsui was glaring into, though the light only shone on mechanical-looking piping and a door. The door had been left open a small crack, and it was obvious that someone had left through there in a hurry. And Natsui, where does that door go?
Genji! Where does that door lead to?
The courtyard.
Like hell I'd let you get away, you damn bastard! Battler let out a war cry as he slammed into the door. Cool air from outside suddenly rushed in. There were some thin, rough stairs leading up. Battler ran up them, shouting, Wait! Sorry.
Wait, Battler-kun! It's dangerous to be on your own right now!
Natsui was also rushing up the stairs, chasing after Battler. They were in the courtyard. The courtyard of the mansion had been built strictly for lighting purposes, so it wasn't a very elegant place. Because it was surrounded on all sides, the air was calm and completely undisturbed, even though they could hear the sound of strong winds. It was only the gentle, sorrowful rain. As he ran through the cold and scattered raindrops, dashing up the stairs into the courtyard, Battler looked in every direction. Of course, the odds of him finding a suspicious silhouette just standing around nonchalantly were pretty much zero. Battler spun, looking all around. He turned again and again. He kept spinning until he almost lost his sense of direction. He prayed that he would see the culprit somewhere in this scenery, but there was no chance. All he saw as he spun was more and more of the mansion's heartless walls and windows. Furthermore, there were 2 entrances into the mansion from the courtyard, and neither of them were locked. Because the courtyard couldn't be entered from outside the mansion, the doors had been built without locks. He didn't know which one they had left through. He had to give up. Battler pounded the wall with his fist, swearing.
Battler, you mustn't run ahead of yourself.
Battler pressed his forehead against the wall, which he scratched at with his fingernails as he cried. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi! And now Cannon-kun! You killed a full 6 people! And that wasn't enough, so you had to kill 3 more! Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi were always kind and fun. I just met Cannon yesterday, but I'm sure I'd have gotten along fine with him. Why did you kill them? Why? Why? You know, when people die, they don't come back to life again, right? They aren't gonna quickly sprout up again like bamboo shoots. Why'd you kill them? Why? Why? Battler was a boy who could understand the feelings of pain and regret in a person's heart. So he cried, with all his strength. Natsui, who had always thought of Battler as a frank person, was a little surprised to find he had this delicate side. And at the same time, she understood how easily hurt the heart of a young person could be, so she held him.
It's all right. I will definitely protect you, George-kun, Maria-chan, and Jessica. Although I don't want to protect Maria-chan, it might be her fault in all this. As a mother, and as the representative of the Ushiromiya family,
Battler, after sobbing into Natsui's chest for a while, wiped his tears with a bitter smile, as though he had been like that the whole time, and tried to appear as though he'd cried more than enough already. Anyway, let's go back down for now.
Nope, that's me. That's me.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, let's go back down for now. Protecting ourselves is a higher priority than finding the culprit. Tomorrow the boat will arrive. After that happens, the police will come and everything should be brought to light. There's no way the culprit can escape this island, no matter how much they struggle.
That's right. When the police come, when the seagulls cry, the crime will be solved. But for some reason, Battler felt a slight sense of uneasiness, as if the seagulls would never cry again. That couldn't be true. The typhoon passes, surely the liveliest seagulls will return to the harbor again. I returned to the boiler room along with Aunt Natsui and told everyone weakly that we hadn't found anything. We heard that Dr. Nanjo and George Niki had carried Cannon-kun to the servant room. The servant room had a first aid kit and a sink. It could apparently function as a nurse's office. Kumasawa-san and Jessica had accompanied them. Stains from Cannon-kun's blood remained on the floor. Judging by the large amount of blood lost and the ruthless shape of the weapon that had fallen carelessly to the ground, I figured that Dr. Nanjo's treatment would probably end in vain. That weapon was doubtlessly the same type that had been stuck in Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's foreheads. But wait, isn't the demonic design on the handle a little different? There seemed to be some small differences in that part. Still, as far as their overall shape was concerned, the weapons were all of the same type. Though it had seemed brutal, we'd left the weapons stuck into Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi to preserve the crime scene. So this was the first time we were able to have a perfect view of the entire weapon. As we had expected, the weapon was not bladed like a knife, but shaped like an ice pick, or rather, a thin stake. And it had a spiral-shaped pattern, sort of like a drill. It looked like something that might be driven into the hearts of human sacrifices in some demonic ritual. Including the handle, it was 25 centimeters long. Half of that was the stake-shaped part, which was stained with deep red blood. The length of the blood-stained part made it clear just how deeply it must have penetrated into Kanon-kun's chest. But Aunt Natsui and the rest didn't even look at the weapon, and instead stood in front of the incinerator, where the horrible stench was emanating from. They must have dragged out that thing which had been burning in the furnace. It was still smoldering and kept sending out dense waves of that awfully unpleasant smell. Genji-san and Maria stared down at it. Aunt Natsui probably couldn't stand to look directly at it. She kept shaking her head, her back to it.
Ew.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Hold on.
Poor
Oh,
Kanon.
no. Oh, he's not. No, he's still alive. He's still alive. It's all good. I thought nothing
I
could...
mean, he's still alive for now, but nobody's doing anything.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm looking at the big F. Smells because I was doing laundry, but crying cat is accurate. I thought nothing could surprise me after everything that's happened, but this is... Ugh. I stood there for a while, moaning with a rising urge to vomit. The true source of that unearthly stench was a scorched corpse that had been cooking inside the incinerator. The clothes, the surface of the body, and the hair were all hideously burned. That grotesque corpse was in a state where not the face, nor the age, nor even the gender could be guessed at. But when I thought about it calmly, I realized that the corpse appearing at this time could only be one person.
Y'all remember when Kinzo suddenly went missing? We found him.
It was grandfather, who had disappeared that morning and whose whereabouts had been unknown.
I believe it is most likely the master.
I agree that he would pass away in such a state. It's heartrending.
But is there any proof that this corpse really is grandfather? It's burnt so black you can't even tell what sex it is.
Remember to drink water, kids.
Yeah, I got water too, so...
Butler can look at the feet.
Aunt Natsui, with her handkerchief over her mouth and her eyes averted, pointed and told me to look at the burnt corpse's feet.
The chat is blowing up with gifs on death right now. Death is everywhere. We're going to take a small pause at this moment and refer back to the epitaph.
Come on. Yeah.
So, 6 were chosen on the first Twilight. That's already been done. On the second Twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who were close. That's been done, represented by Ava-san and Hideyoshi. The third Twilight, those who remain shall praise my name, my noble name. I think we're getting close to that. I think we're getting close to the third Twilight now. What has me worried is the 4th to 8th Twilights. Gouge the head and kill, gouge the chest and kill, gouge the stomach and kill, gouge the knee and kill, gouge the leg and kill. I think that gouge the head and gouge the chest have already been represented as well. Because gouge the head and kill might have been represented by either the original 6 people who've been murdered, each with a different, each with head injuries, or Ava-san and Hideyoshi-san, who have both been
No,
uh,
it's separate.
really? The
Mhm.
gouges and kills are all separate.
Mhm.
Hello?
Which is also a hint for the riddle.
You cut out there, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
No, I said they're separate, which is also a hint for the riddle for the
Oh, Jesus.
gold.
Oh, great gods above. All right, then. But still, I'm worried about the 4th to 8th Twilights because I feel like that might be done
It's
in one single episode.
it's possible the fourth Twilight has also already been done in the form of Kinzo, because Kinzo's burnt so badly you can't tell if he's been gouged through the head. So it's entirely possible he was the fourth Twilight.
Maybe, but also, T brought up a good point. Maybe Cannon will die from his chest wounds.
Yeah, that's possible too.
So he might be represented by the 5th Twilight too.
Yeah.
Like he might be done a little early. But yeah, that's what I wanted to bring back.
Notice how there are 6 toes on each foot.
Huh? You're right. Just as Genji-san had said, there were there were 6 toes on each foot. Each individual toe had looked so normal in its line that I hadn't noticed.
The master was born with 6 toes on both of his feet. Consequently, the master was entrusted with the revival of the Ushiromiya family.
I have heard that since long ago, cases of polydactyly were common in the Ushiromiya family. It's probably hereditary.
Polydactyly literally means many fingers. Because of a little mistake by God when the person is born, one of their toes or fingers splits into 2, and the total number increases. But a big deal isn't usually made of polydactyly in the world at large. That's because it isn't a disease, just something people are born with. So while they are still babies, at about the time they turn 1 year old, they can be taken to the hospital and given surgery to make them normal. Even a child with polydactyly can be treated before they become aware, so they might not even remember it themselves. By the way, it seems that there's a possibility for this to occur in 1 out of every 2,000 babies, so even though it's not usually seen, it isn't that rare at all. Speaking of which, I think Uncle Hideyoshi mentioned something to me long ago. Something about how even Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the man who unified Japan at the end of the Sengoku period, had 6 fingers on one hand. According to Aunt Natsui, among the many Ushiromiya family heads, the ones most praised for their wisdom all had polydactyly. Because of that, when Grandfather was born, his relatives were all excited at the thought that he might become another wise leader. And when the leading relatives all died in the Great Kanto earthquake, it was apparently argued that Grandfather should be the one to restore the family, because of the auspicious sign of his birth.
Well, I mean, they were half right. He led them to great success. He's just leading them to all to their deaths now.
If Grandfather hadn't disliked his position as the head so much, the 6th toe probably would have been pretty lucky for him. Come to think of it, I've heard about some country where it's believed people with polydactyly should be treated as gods and revered. This is beside the point, but it's fairly common in mystery novels for a corpse to be burned to hide its identity. But I guess that in Grandfather's case, just toasting him wouldn't be enough. And Grandfather's body was not simply burnt. It was just like Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi, and the thing that had been stabbed into Cannon-kun's chest. One of those demon's ice picks was stuck into his forehead.
Yep, there we go. Gouged in the head and kill. So now it is confirmed.
Ushiromiya Kinzo, burned in the incinerator with a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of his forehead. The old sorcerer's wish vanished before it could be granted. He always knew that this was one possible result of his risky gamble.
Oh, God! Why?
Oh, whoops.
Why? God damn it. The head's ring is not on his finger.
So the letter last night was telling the truth. Father will probably be horribly disappointed.
Natsui-san let her head droop and closed her eyes tightly. This room had also become a vital crime scene for us to hand over to the police. It was decided that we would leave Grandfather's corpse here and lock the room, sealing it. It isn't clear when Grandfather's corpse started burning in the incinerator. Since, according to Genji, the strength of the flames hadn't been that strong, the body must have started burning a long time ago, so that stench could slowly creep out of the furnace and fill the room bit by bit, eventually pouring out and climbing up the staircase. Putting aside whether he was rare or well done, Battler... I'm sorry.
No, I saw the chat too. Yeah, we do have more dead people than not now. We do have more dead people than not now.
Grandfather had been brought out, killed, and
GK,
burned.
why did you ask that?
Even though he had started out locked away in the closed room created by his autolog. There's probably no doubting this. However, according to Genji-san, the boiler room is usually locked. The possibility that someone outside our group had snuck in and committed the crime was overwhelmingly high, and there was also a good chance that this person was walking around with something like a master key. After all, the doors and windows throughout the mansion had been checked. But despite that, the culprit was able to strut around the mansion freely. It's the witch. Does this crime confirm that a 19th person exists? There's still that contradiction, since they're trying to tout their existence without ever showing themselves once. Along with Kyrie-Asad's chessboard theory, I've been using this contradiction to deny the existence of a 19th person. By spinning the chessboard around once more, the very fact that this crime makes it perfectly obvious that a 19th person exists means that the existence of the 19th person is even less plausible, as long as that 19th person doesn't show themselves in front of us. If the culprit could get Grandfather out through the door sealed by the receipt, if they could kill Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi from the other side of a door sealed by a chain, then could they possibly go so far as to create a fictional 19th person through strange tricks and devices? If we still want to believe that the culprit is among the 18, then the list of suspects has grown very short. The four of us kids, Aunt Natsui, Genji-san, Kumasawa Ba-chan, and Dr. Danjo. One of these people has to be the culprit. Wait, we can't be sure of that. Just a second ago, we started doubting whether the corpse here was actually Grandfather's, right? Maybe we could think of the other bodies in the same way. For example, the first 6 all had their faces horribly smashed. Some of the bodies had kept enough of their faces for us to confirm who they were. That old bastard, for example, had lost his entire face, so the whole thing had been neatly peeled off. We only figured out which body was which by their clothes and surroundings. Did the culprit prepare a fake body beforehand and alter it to make it look like they've died, even though they were actually hiding somewhere after committing the crime? It may sound ridiculous, but it wouldn't be an impossible trick to pull off. It's too early to give in to this 19th person. No, this witch! Dumbass, it's a fucking witch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Maria-chan, you mustn't stare so fixedly anymore. Come on, Battler-kun, too. I'm worried about Kanen's condition, and we mustn't remain in a place like this any longer than necessary.
At this point in time, Cannon's dead. I'm sorry to say, but Cannon's dead. You guys waited too long.
Let us return.
Maria didn't go out with everyone else, but remained in the boiler room. The thing she was staring so fixedly at probably wasn't Grandfather's body, but the demon's ice pick sticking out of his forehead. It was probably the sort of item that an enthusiast couldn't bear to ignore. I tapped her on the head. Hey, Maria, what's Beatrice after? Is it all of our lives?
God fuck! Beatrice will revive very soon. At that time, none shall be left alive.
How can you laugh at something like that? Do you think you're the only one who's safe? Why don't you feel like you're in danger? Why aren't you scared?
Beatrice made a promise. She said she's gonna take me to the Golden Land. It's a wonderful place where you have no obligations. Everyone's always together and everyone is always nice to everyone else. I'm looking forward to it.
I was gonna say, that sounds kind of awesome, like...
You want to know what the best thing is? You get to see all your relatives because you'll be dead too.
That time will come very soon now.
Just what kind of person is Maria? I only know what Maria was like 6 years ago, when she was 3. She was once pure and obedient. A good kid. This new Maria 6 years later and the Maria I knew didn't seem to fit together. Just who is she? This witch who calls herself Maria. To Maria, who obstinately believes in the witch, this series of unsolvable crimes is proof that the witch actually exists. Every time something occurs that would be difficult for a human, it becomes a little harder for the rest of us to not believe in Beatrice. It must be an intense pleasure for Maria to see her relatives, who once firmly denied the witch's existence, start acknowledging that witch's existence one by one. Is that why she's in high spirits? Maria, let me ask this one more time. You'll probably answer the same anyway, but I'll ask just once more. Yesterday, you were given a letter in the rose garden. Who gave it to you?
Like I said, Beatrice. Battler still doesn't believe.
Maria only repeated what she had already said. Maria met with the 19th person, the witch. Was that really a 19th person, or did one of the 18 just get her to say that? All that's certain is that Maria has been with the rest of us constantly, has always had an alibi, and hasn't done anything suspicious.
She's done plenty suspicious.
She's simply overjoyed at being made Beatrice's messenger, and certainly isn't the 19th person. Supposedly. That's right. I wonder what's written in the letter we picked up in Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's room. And Natsui should still have it with her.
There it is.
That's the end of the chapter. $8 o'clock.
Jeez, this bullshit though. So next chapter, Canon-kun probably died. Yep, yeah. He's dead, everybody.
Yeah.
Canon-kun's dead.
Servant Cannon found in the boiler room with a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of his chest. How presumptuous of lowly furniture like that.
Beatrice is now... Oh, poor boy. Beatrice or Maria is now writing the endings for, like, the causes of death for these guys. Because there's no way that they would write something so hurtful.
Yeah, I think... it's probably Beatrice.
Yeah. Okay, so we only have 2, 4, 6, 8 more... No, yeah, 8 more people left.
Hold on. I always have to save twice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Yep, 8.
8 people out of the 18, so 10 people are dead now.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4... 4 Twilights, at least as far as, like, injury goes. So there's 4 more, so 4 more people. There'll be some survivors then. Maybe. Well, wait, no, because... hold on, what's it say? Oh yeah, none shall be left alive. So yeah, so 1, 2, 3. So 3 more people will be killed in that weird way, and then the rest will, I don't know.
They'll probably die, and Maria's right, and she'll end up in some sort of weird but pleasant purgatory. We don't know.
Who knows?
Certainly not us yet. But God, poor Cannon. He was just trying to live and escape his life, but now he's dead. Rest in peace, Cannon. What's up with the rage shouts in chat? Is everybody upset
I
that
don't
Cannon
know.
died?
I guess
I
I think that's what happened. Yeah, that's what it is. Rage that Cannon's got.
am. Rage
But
that
hey,
Cannon's on.
hey, you know what? At least he could be with Shannon again.
Oh, that's upsetting. That's upsetting. That's horrible. And also, didn't Jessica? I think Jessica might have had a thing for him.
Yeah, she does.
So now Jessica's all like the same with George. He's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, not the same as George because she's still got her mom, but you better believe that Natsuhi is gonna be like ultra mama bear right now.
Natsuhi's gonna die next. I can just imagine.
Oh god, I hope not.
Well, hold on.
Mama bear.
No. Hear me out though. Don't show me that gift yet. Hear me out though. So the toss up that I'm feeling now is either between Natsuhi or the servants. Because with the servants, the other twilights before the 9th twilight can be taken care of right then and there.
Yeah. I mean, Nanjo, I don't know about Nanjo. If we're looking at this from like a mystery point of view, he's probably going to be one of the last ones because there always has to be like a doctor to confirm the deaths. So he'll at least be around for the final 3 with the those other 3 twilights. I'm thinking anyways.
I mean, maybe, but still, like, I still think that the other twilights will be represented by the servants.
Or the
Kumasawa gonna get it. She's too nice
kids.
to live in this horror.
Oh,
Natsuhi is gonna get shot with her own gun, calling it now.
Oh no!
I mean, GK could be right. Because remember how Cannon tried to attack Beatrice with a hatchet, but he got stabbed. So maybe Natsuhi will try and shoot at Beatrice, and she'll get shot with a bullet instead.
I hope not. She's fucking badass.
She is, but sometimes badasses have to go.
Alright, guys. Thank you all for watching and tuning in with us.
But now it is time for us to go.
Yes.
I wish you guys sweet dreams because this was a doozy. Holy fucking hell!
You know what? This isn't as bad as what I was playing last night, so I'm cool with this. So
I'm a soft bitch. I'm not used to this much.
Yeah, Eddie Gluskin can go fuck himself. Yeah, that was not fun. Rox,
you can rewatch it on YouTube, Rox. You're okay.
Don't worry, Rox. I'll get it up. I need to get part 12 up, so I'm a little bit behind, but.
Wait, are we on part 13 or part 14?
This is 14.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right though. It'll be fun.
I think at the end of this we'll probably have like 20.
For episode 1.
I know, like at the end of this episode, we'll probably have like either 16 or 20, one of those numbers.
Yeah.
But then when we start episode 2, it'll just go longer and longer.
Maybe. I know episode 2 is longer than 1, but I think 1 is longer than 3. I think. I can't remember.
At the end of all this, we shall reach our 50th episode.
Yeah. Alright guys, yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you'd like to join in on the Discord and see everybody freaking the fuck out like they were today, you could go ahead and support me on Patreon at patreon.com/insanityizgood. I could check the main channel for other playthroughs, and then you can also join me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/insanityizgood for my other gameplays. But this is like a YouTube Discord special, so yeah. Let's have a good night. Stay safe. Wear your goddamn mask. And
please wear your masks, wash your hands, and oh god, just be awesome. Just be awesome and supportive, because we're still in the, like, even if other places are reopening, we're still in a pandemic.
We had I think over 8,000 cases in a day.
Yeah, stay the fuck home.
So, yeah.
Stay the ever-loving fuck at home.
Yeah.
If you want to get food, order it. If you want to go into a grocery store, respect the 6 feet and wear a mask.
Yeah.
If it's hot outside, then just stay the hell at home.
Hey man, I placed an order for groceries to be delivered for tomorrow. So, if I can do my part, you guys can too, so just saying. Alright guys, have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!
Bye.